I want to get to all the University of Miami stuff as we will over the course of the week, because we really haven't felt this way in almost 25 years down here. But the Dolphins are in great flux, and Mike McDaniel is part of the GM search, which is why I think they are going to keep him. And I believe he's lost all his lifelines now. He's got to make another quarterback or he will be fired. That's what the job will be, I would assume. I would assume that because Mike McDaniel has survived this, and Tua yesterday is saying it would be pretty dope to get a fresh start somewhere else, that he's the last remaining member of this triumvirate of people that represented the franchise for the last few years, Tyreek Hill, Tua, and him, and I believe he will be the only survivor of this. You've written a column today in the Miami Herald. I think your thoughts are very different from a frustrated fan base that Zaslow gets to applaud every time that he crushes Tua and fires Mike McDaniel. He's been firing Mike McDaniel for how long now? How long have you been firing him? Every single day you meet me, instead of good morning, you say with Mike McDaniel should be fired. Every morning.
I'm not sure the exact day count, but I'm pretty sure it came the Monday after the Dolphins got killed by the Cleveland Browns. Like, I feel like that day that they were just uncompetitive. Tua was awful. I think he had 3 interceptions that game. The day after against the Cleveland Browns, I think is when I officially fired Mike McDaniel for the first time.
The counter just switched from 40. This is the 48th consecutive day.
I'm firing Mike McDaniel. That's for sure. I'm definitely firing.
I think Mike McDaniel earned the right for one more season.
How?
How? Because when you start 1-6 and 2-7, you expect the team to cave, and this team didn't. They got better. The defense played better, notwithstanding Sunday when they got their ass kicked in New England. But they finished 5-3. They never quit on the coach, which means they're still playing hard. They believe in this coach. And I think it should go without saying that if he doesn't make the playoffs next season, he's out. No question about it. Well, and should be.
I hear what you're saying, and I do think there is something to be said for starting 1-6 and the team not quitting, and you win 5 of your next 6 games. But if we look at the entire picture here, in 4 years, Mike McDaniel is the head coach. What makes you believe that this is a coach who can win you a Super Bowl? Like, that's what it needs to be about. Not just, hey, in the end of the season, the team played better. We have a body of work. 4 years. What makes you believe this is a coach who can win you a Super Bowl?
With this franchise, the franchise that hasn't won a playoff game in 25 years, I don't think they could hire anybody who would make me believe that. When they had Nick Saban, and by the way, Nick Saban would have done great with the Dolphins had he not left. He was not a failure here at all, in my opinion. I think Nick Saban had the cred to maybe lead.
You say he
that.
wasn't a failure, but I think he was every bit as 500 as McDaniel's been. Like, you say that Nick Saban wasn't a failure.
He was two under 500.
McDaniel's a 500 coach.
Well, but it unless you have the magic quarterback, it takes time. It takes a couple of years. It takes 4 or 5 years. The problem is there's no patience anymore.
Well, no, that's not the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is
here.
after 4 years, you don't have something that looks like a plan. And that's the problem.
The problem is after the first quarter against Tampa Bay, I thought Quinn Ewers had a great first half against Tampa Bay. And I was beginning to say to myself, you know what? I was on Tua's side too long. Quinn Ewers looks like the real deal. Since that first half, I have not seen that as much. I don't think they go into this offseason having any idea who their quarterback is next year or whether he's going to be any good. And that's a problem.
Ewers isn't the answer, and I want to go one step further with this and ask you guys. In a league where everything's salary capped and what you actually want from your architects is to find a whole bunch of people who are value. I'm asking everyone here this question. Do you guys have examples of organizations that can overcome this albatross of a contract? Because Cleveland's got one at quarterback with Deshaun at Watson, and they're not going to get out from under it. When you have this much money tied up in someone who cannot play at that position, I don't think it's something that can be overcome by an organization in a year or two. I think it takes 5-6 years, and it certainly can't be overcome in a year where there's no quarterbacks in the draft and no quarterbacks available in free agency.
There's only seemingly one example, and it's going on right now. It's Denver. Like, Denver did it. But that's the only example I think there's ever been.
And Cleveland's picking top 6 in the NFL draft. Like, they have an opportunity to get a rookie wage scale quarterback in there inside the top 6. Dolphins got their hands tied behind their back because they don't have that kind of pick because they performed too well for their coach down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlucky a little bit because when you pick 11, plenty of drafts, you get a good quarterback at 11. Plenty of drafts. And this is not one. I just think that in this case, they needed to give McDaniel one more. I don't think McDaniel's a bad coach. And if McDaniel got fired Monday, on Black Monday, he would be somebody's offensive coordinator.
I am a little bit exasperated when yesterday makes an appearance and everyone is clucking about all the coaches that have been fired. And I'm watching and I'm like, okay, so Pete Carroll couldn't take it with him, right? He forgot how to do it in a year. Like, he was really good at it and he was really exceptional at culture creating. We all know he's great at attitude and atmosphere. And after 1 year, the Raiders decide, oh, that worked with Geno Smith back there, but it doesn't work with Geno Smith here. And now Pete Carroll can't take it with him. Pete Carroll, who we would all say is exceptional, after 1 year, the Raiders decide, nah, you can't do it anymore. And I think we do this all the time with thinking that there are Vrabels out there everywhere that can just go from place to place and take it with them. And I think it's really, really myopic in not understanding how it is these people do their jobs and how difficult these jobs are. And you better have a quarterback. Like, there aren't a lot of examples of a coach that's having success without a quarterback that he's at the hip with. Show me them all. Like, it's just really hard to do. And Pete Carroll thought, well, I did it with Geno Smith in Seattle. I'll just take it with me over here. And after a year, he's gone. So explain it to me. What happened with Pete Carroll that he can't just take it with him? Because if I told you right now you can have Pete Carroll, would you want that? Because there aren't a lot with resumes better than that available to you.
Right. Well, I think a lot of coaches are going to fail in their first year with a program like that. I mean, they have the number 1 draft pick for a reason. I really think that there's no patience anymore. On ESPN this morning, I saw the headline, "Should the Ravens part ways with John Harbaugh?" Why? Because his field goal kicker missed a 40-yard winning field goal? Are you kidding me? And if the kid had made that field goal, the same headline would have been applied to Mike Tomlin. These guys have won for years, but they haven't won enough.
So, but what are we doing? Brian Flores the last couple of years was 10-6 and 9-8, and he was fired. What are we doing? Like, could I not put any number of people in that position and get a 500 record?
Perhaps. I don't know.
But what are we doing with this obsession with let's get Stefanski or let's get Raheem Morris or let's get whoever the next guy is who's going to come and sprinkle some sort of dust over my franchise, and it doesn't matter whether or not I have a quarterback. I'm going to have some leader who's going to coach my guys up.
See, my objection with the Fire McDaniel crowd is who's going to replace him. Okay, whenever anybody says, any fan says, we got to fire that guy, fire McDaniel, I'm like, who's next? Is he better?
Belichick? You guys want Belichick?
Yeah.
I'm not fire the coach guy, but I think I've seen
48
enough.
straight days.
But
You are fire the coach guy.
but
Yes.
You are fire the coach guy.
But
you're
Exactly
nothing
who
more.
you
You
are.
are nothing more than fire the coach guy.
Yeah.
Paul Maurice would like a word.
I apologize to Paul Maurice to his face, and I told him that I love him. All right, so you don't get to keep holding that over my head.
I'm with you.
Eventually, we move past it. Okay.
I agree.
So you just haven't fired Spo.
But I look at Mike McDaniel and I ask myself, is this a coach who can lead a team to a Super Bowl? And my answer is no. And if my answer is no, what do we do?
Yeah, but your answer is no to anybody right now that I put in that position given their quarterback problem.
Yes.
There's not a coach. Like, if I say Belichick right now, is that a coach that can lead them to a Super Bowl? Yes or no? Belichick.
I suppose. I mean, because he's done it. but I don't want Belichick as my coach.
That's crazy.
The Raiders thought that about Pete Carroll, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're hiring a big name, and what?
Let me explore this with all of you, though. Just in learning over the last 5 years, so many of the things that I did not know about what leadership requires, and still not being very good at some of those things. I do think that we consistently overvalue that stuff. Now, it doesn't mean that Vrabel and Sean Payton can't have success in multiple places. But the conversation we're presently having about McDaniel, the fan base, I believe, will be satiated if it's simply addition by subtraction. Just get rid of him. I want someone else who represents hope, because that guy makes me feel hopeless. And I want Zaslow to read some from Greg Cody's column here, because I don't know what you disagreed with. And I will tell you that for about 20 years, Jonathan Zaslow has been sending me texts that are simply the headline on some Cody column, where it is the most obvious thing that anyone could say. Now, the headline writers have not done Cody any favors over the years, but now Cody writes his own headlines, so there's no one else to blame. Cody writes his own headlines.
Is that right?
Because newspapers are dying.
Right.
That's correct.
Oh, it's not because like you're at a status where you're allowed to do it. It's because there aren't enough people working?
That's pretty much it. Now, there is one editor who's liable to change a headline or tweak it or, put a word in there.
I would have figured it's a respecting. No, Greg makes his headlines.
I do make my headlines. And if they're bad headlines, the problem is you're limited, and not to get too inside journalism, you're limited to a word count and a character
What
count.
is the headline on this particular column?
This is from yesterday.
Yesterday's Miami Herald Greg Cody column. We're happy to have the local sports historian in with us today. A big football week in Miami.
Dolphins with no answers at QB as Miami Ewers crushed by Pats. Is that your headline?
Yes. Yeah. There's only so much you can say in those number of characters.
You don't want to give it away.
Don't apologize for the headline. It's a fine headline.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
It's a decent headline.
Sounds like you're doubting your choice there a little bit.
Apologizing for it.
I'm doubting every choice the Dolphins have right now.
No, you're doubting your choice in headline is what I'm saying.
Oh, no, the headline's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, if people who don't like the headline.
What are you objecting to in the column?
Well, first of all, the first sentence here in the column, circumstances could have been worse for Ewers on Sunday. They could have required that he play with his throwing hand tied behind his back. I will tell you right there, you've hooked me. You brought me in. That's the first line. Now I'm in. Now I'm continuing to read. Okay, we're talking about tying a quarterback's hand behind his back. You got me. Okay. But the main part that I disagree with is obviously Tua related. All right.
Yeah.
Giving up on Tua, who is in his prime. That right now you lose me. Okay.
He's in his chronological prime.
You're not in your prime anymore. If you were a good quarterback and now you're terrible. That's not your prime anymore.
Prime's an age thing, though. I'm with my dad on
No,
that. When you say someone's in
that's
their
where you're
prime, you're
stuck
just
on.
talking about age.
You're stuck on the age thing. No, prime is you're at the part of your career where you're going to play your best. You're stuck on the age part.
Yeah, good quarterbacks have bad seasons. I don't know if you know that or not. Good quarterbacks do have off years.
Condescending, but I'm going to let it go.
Tua, now, if you present me, if anybody can say the neurological reports are bad, Tua physically in his brain is less than he used to be and less than he needs to be. If you tell me that, then I'm on that side. But right now, lacking that neurological evidence, all I see is a quarterback who made a Pro Bowl a couple of years ago and had a bad season this year. He had a bad season.
Let me ask you, do you indeed lack that neurological evidence? Because you don't have the data the Dolphins have, but we have a whole bunch of public commentary that has made us wonder openly around here, hey, is he right? Do we know the Look, man, this CTE stuff is complicated, okay? The biggest New York shooting that there's been in 20 years, somebody was shooting the NFL building, said he had CTE, and it was learned that he did have CTE. What's going on with Antonio Brown right now, this Hall of Fame, when he gets into the Hall of Fame, that's going to be weird for everybody because of whatever it is that's going on with him. And
I'm taking the under on that.
Yeah.
You don't think he belongs in the Hall
I mean,
of Fame?
that's a different question.
I think
I don't know anyone's voting for him.
I think the voters will be like, we'll be your guardrail.
Let's take a look at some tweets.
We all agree that would be awkward, so we're just gonna go ahead and handle this one.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Antonio Brown going to make the Hall of Fame? Now, Phillip Rivers kicks his 5 years down the line, right? So he doesn't have to be
Yes.
with all of these guys that retired. He can get into an easier class 5 years from now.
I think Phillip Rivers helped his Hall of Fame case by
absolutely
coming
did.
back.
He was one of those guys because he played in this
Even
era.
though he didn't win a game.
He
Yeah,
played in
I was
that
gonna
era
say,
where
he's on three.
is he first ballot? Is he a first ballot guy? He definitely helped himself.
How
Like,
could he have helped himself?
Because that
he
was
was
the-
0-3.
Dude, that was legitimately one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in the history
That's
of
Hall
sports.
of Fame stuff we
That
saw.
was crazy. He was not bad.
That is the only
was
time
okay.
I've ever seen anybody play in the NFL. Like, I don't know if you guys can you guys find the photo? Was it Sonny Jurgensen? Who's the famous photo of a quarterback? It might have been Y.A. Tittle on their knees, on the floor, sweating.
Tittle, Giants.
Yeah, get that photo for me so that people can see how old some of these old quarterbacks used to look. Phillip Rivers is the first time I've seen someone in a football uniform at the position being like, oh, he's got a total big giant belly. He's got a dad body. Like, he has not been working out for 5 years. That uniform's not slimming on him.
People are going to forget that he was winless. And people are, if they're going to apply that
I will
context, they better apply the context that he went up against Mike McDonald's defense, he went up against Rob Saleh's defense, and he just bombed in, and he was fine.
Hey, Hall of Famer.
Let me ask you guys this question when you guys sit here and talk about exciting name coaches, okay? Who had Mike McDonald being 15-2 under 40 years old?
A lot of people liked him.
15-2 on the road.
He was a highly touted
Mike,
DC.
Mike,
Like,
but-
I liked him.
Mike, but 15.
I did.
15-2.
Answer your question.
15-2 on the road.
I
with
like 'em.
Geno Smith and Sam Darnold as your quarterbacks. That's not something anybody could have
Well,
predicted.
Stop applying context to make it seem more improbable, Dan. I just liked him as a head coach.
Look, we loved Mike McDaniel at one point, right? Right now, Ben Johnson is that guy. Liam Cohen is that guy. Let him have a losing season.
Duval.
Yes, exactly. Let him have a losing season and see how long that love lasts.
I like how Greg has to acknowledge the drop.
What?
Usually we just play noises and we let them go,
Thank
and they're
you.
for the
Oh,
audience.
okay,
You
yeah.
don't have to thank
Thank
your
you, Liam.
son
All
for
right,
your
thank
son
you.
for playing the Duval drop. We keep it
Duval.
moving.
Great timing.
I love it.
You're a little rusty.
I am a little rusty.